A time warp to the era of the Mogul empires and the rule of the Maharaja. The Exploring India edition of the Faizal show takes you on an adventurous journey, immersed in rich culture and history. India is the epitome of wisdom surrounded by history. Explore the bustling streets, the cuisine, and the life and path treaded by sages on this epic journey through India.
The journey through India has been absolutely fascinating at this stage. We've gone all around and we start to sort of end the spiritual aspects of the trip. So the spiritual aspects involved various mosques, looking at relics if you recall, and all of that. And that starts coming to an end. We start spending some more time shopping, leisure, entertainment and that sort of thing. But on this particular Friday that you're going to see up next, we decide to go to a mosque in New Delhi. It was really different for us because the Jumu'ah itself was being rendered in a different language. So we kind of sat there all hot and flustered because humidity was up. But when we got out of the mosque, there was a surprise waiting for Ahmed Mohammed, our technical director, Deen TV. And that was that his shoes were stolen. Now we're not showing you much of that because he was very, very upset for me just recording that. He was just absolutely upset. But be that as it may, these things happen when you travel around. And some people say that if your shoes are stolen in a country where you're traveling, then you're going back. Last night we arrived in New Delhi from Ajmer on a very exciting train ride. It was a nice experience. People were milling around on the train. The train was air conditioned. They served food. The nice thing about the train is it's sort of wide body compared to a bus, so you can walk around, do whatever you want to do, chat, and the stability is also there, so it doesn't bounce up and down, so it doesn't make you that tired, if I can put it that way. We then went to have a late supper and off to bed, and I think everyone needed that recharge because it's Friday now and we're in New Delhi and we're on our way to Jumu'ah. Time here is about 12 o'clock. I heard it's going to take about an hour to get to Jumu'ah. I'm not sure what time that starts. It'll be interesting to see how the Jumu'ah actually goes and how it unfolds here, because I know that different parts of the world we have different approaches and different ways that things are done, and I'm very interested to find out how that's all done. After that we're going back to the hotel where people are going to change, and there's some show happening tonight at the Kingdom of Dreams. I think it's a theme park kind of environment, and we're going to see what all that's about. So far for me the journey has been interesting, it's been exciting. It's more of an expedition, if I can put it that way. I'm not calling it a journey, I'm calling it an expedition, and that's because of the experiences, and every moment for us at this point has been a different experience. So we're exploring culture, we're exploring the food, we're exploring habits, behavior, trying to understand how things happen within the economy itself, within the very constructs of how people live and what manages their thought process here, which is a bit different to where we come from.
I found it extremely exciting, the freedom to move, the comfort, definitely since my last visit a couple of years ago, the train, quality of the train and the service has improved dramatically. The food was very good for me. World record holder in some paper origami. Cook from Chennai who's got 4 restaurants specializing in biryani. I'm glad overall to be back in Delhi. It seems like Delhi is our base, very comfortable hotel.
Yeah, this newfound friendship is actually quite interesting because we kind of seem to be cut from the same cloth. It's just we have a different road. We're both looking for the same end. Now I'm trying to show him my way, or the right way, should I say, personally.
In a court of law in South Africa, you make an argument, that guy has a chance to reply, and then you have the final chance to reply.
well, if he goes on the highway, I'll follow him, but also I'll take him off at the right off-ramp. He knows the rules of the road. It's just that he reacts too quickly. He applies brakes like the driver all of a sudden, and then he accelerates again, but he doesn't take it smooth.
This is my point. Right. This is my point of contention with this gentleman. We on the way, but I want to show him the right way. Is there a presupposition there? His way is the right way. That's what worries me. We got it on TV. We got it on camera. Yeah.
Cut the long story short, they're exactly the same.
I asked the guy in his language for the nuts, and he understood everything, and he brought it to me, and I shared it out with everybody, that little bit that I knew. Then he want to know where I come. There's a Chennai or whatever there in South Africa. I say, no Chennai there. I say, Chennai is here. But he says, how you know? I say, no, tumhara saathi hai hum, wahan bhi both hai.
I miss them all, like my son, my daughters, my grandchildren. I miss all of them. There were some challenges, like we moved with a train. After how many years I sat in a train, very exciting. It's something different.
I was saying to my husband that if we hadn't been to Pakistan, I think this would have been a real shocker for us. It's more or less in line with what we've seen in Pakistan, a bit more poverty-stricken, brings you back a bit to reality, to learn that we need to appreciate what we have back at home, even though our forefathers have come from here.
Now, it's the only place in the world that you get trained how to be a professional beggar.
अल्लाह के नाम से कुछ दे दो भाई. दादा के नाम से कुछ दे दो. अल्लाह आपको सुखी रखे.
Hey, I must tell you, I always thought that Ahmed Bhai belongs here. Sitting in the middle of New Delhi. Temperature's picked up now and the humidity is picked up. It's Friday just before Jumu'ah. I'm all ready to go into the mosque. I'm not sure what time they start, but it's 12:35 here now, and we're about to go in and start. I want to report later to you about the processes in the mosque and how that goes along. Ali Bhai, the Jumu'ah here, I've been to Jumu'ah some years ago when I was in Mumbai, I think, sometime back. I can't recall. I think it was at Hajj Ali, I'm not sure. But the Jumu'ah here on this side, what time do they generally start?
Well, Jumu'ah actually starts normally, if you go to follow Islam, just from 12:30.
12:30.
12:30. In India, they start from 12:30. They give azan. In Kashmir, they same thing here.
Yeah.
From onwards, from 12:30, somewhere they start 1 o'clock, Jamaat, somewhere 1:30, somewhere 2 o'clock. The last. Somewhere they do quarter to the last place.
Yes.
Normally they start from onward 1.
Yes.
From somewhere 1:30, some place they do 2 o'clock, some
Yes.
place quarter to 2,
Yeah.
some quarter past 2.
So generally you'll do Urdu language first and then
Urdu language.
Urdu first,
Only
and then what about the
Arabic. When
Arabic,
Salat,
the khutbah itself?
They did Sarab in Arabic,
Yeah.
like everybody does.
Yeah.
In
And the
Arabic,
khutbah itself?
One?
The khutbah-
Khutbah in Arabic.
Yeah, the khutbah.
Arabic.
So you first do Urdu and then Arabic,
Yes.
and then the Salah.
speech they do in Arabic, they translate it in Urdu.
Yes.
And then the khutbah they do in Arabic.
Yes.
Some place they do in Urdu also, but normally they read it in Arabic because it's written in Arabic. Some place they do in Urdu as well, but normally in Arabic.
Okay.
Everywhere you hear the khutbah is in Arabic.
Okay.
So sometimes they do, some places they translate you
Yes.
Urdu, but
Yes.
very few places, not everywhere.
Okay.
People don't have so much time.
So obviously no English at all.
No.
Okay. And I think that's the difference. I think anywhere that you go in the world, you're going to get the Arabic khutbah as part of the Jummah, but then they'll probably use the local language to where
Urdu,
to
yeah.
put, which is Urdu here,
Urdu, yeah.
to ensure that people understand what is being said and what's being spoken about. Now I get one thing, and that's that poverty in India is rife. So I understand that people are begging and all kinds of things are happening. However, at the same time, we took along our own professional beggar. You saw that. Amitsi that was sitting outside the mosque. We didn't know about this. I just got out of the bus and I saw there was a familiar looking man, and that was Amitsi that sitting with his handkerchief open trying to make some money because he knew the language. However, it didn't work much. People realized that this was just another beggar in it all. Up next, we start looking at the Kingdom of Dreams, and this is an entertainment spot in New Delhi. We saw the most fascinating stage display of entertainment. Stay tuned. Decided to come into the theatre and enjoy some of the arts and culture of India. India Inn in New Delhi. It's our last morning, or it's now afternoon. Sorry, it's afternoon, Yusuf. It's almost 2 o'clock. And we're going to the airport shortly and we're flying to Surat. There's been some changes in our diary. We were supposed to go to Kashmir. That didn't happen due to political reasons and that sort of thing. Last night we were out and about in town, went to some stage, theatrical plays and that sort of thing. So we had a relaxing morning. Decided to catch up with some people on our way to New Delhi. Yusuf's one of our regular speakers and travelers. You probably got used to him. He seems to be very camera friendly, I must say. Yusuf, how's it been going? I mean, we had a relaxing morning, I suppose.
So we did have a relaxing morning, some time to pack up and freshen up. I think in India, there's the travel time from city to city is quite long. Yeah, it's a mission. I think the billions of people that are in the country make it very difficult to commute. So you have to allow for
it's
that.
Traffic and it's infrastructure, I think.
Yes, yeah. But in all the chaos that you see on the roads, I'm sure you would have recorded some of that. That there's a sort of a rhythm to the city. So that's quite interesting that you don't see in South Africa.
So for people thinking of coming to India, if there was a selling line, what would the selling line for you be? South Africans specifically, because South Africans, in my view, I'm not going to be disrespectful and say that they're in a bubble, but sometimes they're very sheltered in this space. And when you start going into the Middle East and the East and the Far East, you start seeing things that are very radically different to what you're used to.
I think in general, travel expands your experience and your mindset. So I would say India is one of those countries there where you come and then you realize that although you would have considered yourself to be sort of disadvantaged or backwards in South Africa, you'll see a country that is also developing in a similar situation as ourselves in terms of economy, infrastructure. But the people here who have very little make a plan to get things done. And I think bottom line is I think people are very content. It's actually amazing to see people who have what we would say bottom level jobs in South Africa to be so happy doing what they do. And I think that's something sort of different. It's a mindset that's completely different.
If you were to say that you took some life lessons, you say that obviously one's mind does expand when you're traveling. Your level of thinking in terms of becoming a critical thinker and a critical understander changes. If there were lessons that you took from your trip to India, what would they be?
So I think the biggest lesson I would say is that you have to be grateful for what you have. I think we haven't yet been to Mumbai, but I think Mumbai will be sort of an experience also where you will actually see the heightened level of poverty there.
Are you at the same time saying that the trip sort of brings you closer to reality and to understand that what I have back home is a million times better and I should start thinking about those things?
Yes, I do definitely think so. Although you stay in 5-star accommodation, I think when you get onto the streets and when you drive through the city, you definitely see that there is sort of disparity. And it's always good to see the differences, the stark differences actually. Because in South Africa, everything is very much similar. But when you travel overseas, you see the noticeable differences, and that is when you can actually compare and say, look, maybe I have been a bit ungrateful for this or that, or taken this for granted. So I think maybe that's something that you do take away.
So the people back home, who are they that you are thinking about on the trip?
So I have my mom, dad, and younger brother. So I don't communicate much with him. I feel that we sort of quite independent. Like they don't need to check up on me all the time. But I did communicate with him this morning, and whenever we travel in city to city.
I think mother will always be concerned.
Yes, no, I think with the technology age, WhatsApp, communication is there at the press of a button, so it's easy to be in touch.
Yusuf, we'll catch up with you probably in Surat and just after that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Faizal.
Well, we just chatted to Yusuf about his ideas, thoughts and lessons and what he felt were some of the messages and lessons that he picked up here in India. And I think that everybody to some degree experiences their own understanding and they have their own journey that they go through. And those journeys are sometimes distinct and sometimes they're very similar. But in the end of the day, I think as South Africans we pick up that there's a lot of lessons to be taken out, and that is to appreciate things that we do have, things that we do take for granted. I'm also joined by Uncle Yunus, and I got to name his Uncle Yunus. Now, Uncle Yunus is very interesting, and that is he loves sending dedications back home. So yesterday afternoon for Jumuah, he wanted to go live on my Facebook to send a Jumuah message. And so we've become used to that. We'll allow him to do a dedication soon to all his aunties, uncles, children, nephew, and everybody else. And we'll go through the entire list. We'll give him about half an hour for that later. But just, Uncle Yunus, how's it been going so far for you?
So
you
far,
seem to
so
miss
good.
people at home.
Yeah, no,
And I can see
definitely.
that.
I missed my son, my daughters, my grandchildren,
And there's it going, and there's it going.
my daughter-in-law, my son-in-laws.
Somehow I knew this was going to happen. Anyway, so you must be a family man if you're missing me.
Yes, no, definitely. I miss them a lot.
But sometimes maybe it's good to come out and then break away for a while and build up that missing element and go back in again.
Yes, no, sure, definitely. Like sometimes when we go away to Makkah, also we miss them. But when we come back, then we're back together again.
Yes, correct. If there was any lessons that you learned here in India, what were they?
There was a lot of things that we learned here. Like we went on a train ride from Ajmer to
New Delhi.
New Delhi. It was a nice ride. Tiring. It was what, about 7-8 hours ride?
Yes. But the company helps, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, a lot. The company kept us going all the time.
Yes. Well, what's your thoughts about the actual tours to the mazars itself? Do you feel that it puts you in touch with their history and a part of you in terms of spirituality, perhaps? I don't know.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's a lot to learn. Like I've never been to mazars before. Besides Durban, I've been to Bashapir.
Yes.
And this was something different completely. It's a good experience.
Yes. Apart from the experience, do you think that it's a good way to sort of introspect into the lives of these personalities and see what we can take out of their lives and maybe try and aspire to be in a way similar, maybe?
It's not definitely.
Now, I know there's a few people that you want to mention because you've been burning to do that. Who are they? Back up.
Especially my daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to send a message to you. And my son-in-laws. I apologize, but anyway, I'll cover it up for you people.
So do you do this on every trip you go to? Like, you always like wanting to send the messages out. You do that on all your trips?
No. Like, when I speak to them over the phone.
Yes.
So I always talk to them.
Yes. And you see your daughter-in-law. I find it very interesting because it obviously means that you've taken, it's a very Indian traditional thing here, you've taken her to be your own.
Yeah, you see, I was so excited and I forgot to mention their names.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm covering up for them now.
No, of course. And this is something that Uncle Yunus is going to always remember. Well, it seems like it's almost 2 o'clock and that's the time we're leaving the hotel. Time in New Delhi, that is. Yeah. So we'll catch up with you at the airport as we fly off to Surat.
Surat, yeah.
One outstanding feature on this trip was the hotels that we stayed at. Sure Travel made sure that we stay at the best hotels. And for me particularly, I wasn't too concerned about hotels because generally I'm used to traveling, so you get used to anything and anything goes, it's fine. But when you're on the move, you're on the move. Most people say as long as they have good ablution facilities and toilets and that sort of thing, they're fine. And I'm one of those people. But the hotels we went to was absolutely splendid. Mansoor Rata and Show Me This Travel put the best hotels together, and we thank them for that. I also want to remind you that Sunflower Day in South Africa was on the 15th of September this year, 2017. However, you can see I'm still wearing my taupe. I want to ask you at the same time to continue supporting children with cancer and blood disorders by supporting the Sunflower Fund. do visit their website at sunflower.org.za. Thank you for joining us. Do make a difference. Goodbye.